Meditation is one of those things we know we should be doing, but we never find time for. Come on, will 10 minutes in silence really make a difference? It's only for these crazy new age folks. I'm not one of them. I already feel pretty good about my life. I don't think I need it. Sounds familiar? Yeah, I used to be there too. But what if I told you that regular daily meditation can actually spearhead your growth? I ran an experiment and I meditated for 30 consecutive days. Mind you, I wasn't 100% consistent with it, but even though I skipped a few days, the results were nothing short of amazing. So in this video, I'll share the 3 ways in which meditation has improved my productivity, and I'll explain how you can use them to enhance your own daily life. But first, a quick disclaimer. Meditation has been and will remain a spiritual practice. In this video, I'm not trying to commodify it and present it as a productivity tool. It is not. But I think it is so effective at improving your discipline and productivity exactly because it is a spiritual practice. I find it that just as our productivity, our output is affected by our mental and physical health, it is as much affected by our spiritual health. And please, do not think that spirituality is only reserved for religious people or crazy new age folks. It's not. It's a very natural human need. Spirituality comes in so many different ways, and your take on it can be simply about coming back to yourself and reconnecting with your own reality. And with that, let's start with idea number 1. This will probably be the key insight of this video, as meditation taught me a new framework on how to build and stick to habits. For me, as for many of you, habit building has been about grit and perseverance. The phrase "fake it till you make it" became my mantra as I was forcing myself into liking things I knew were good for me. And eventually I did, and I started liking them for the simple fact of them benefiting my life. But had I known earlier that I could build new habits through joy rather than through sheer willpower, the whole process would have probably taken me less time, or at the very least, there would have been less resistance attached to it. Now, what I did, I reframed my meditation practice as an experiment. I told myself that there is no pressure, there is no particular time or way to do it. In other words, I was free to test whatever. And if it doesn't work, I can drop it any moment. The only condition I had was that I had to genuinely try to stick to this habit for 30 consecutive days. So I did my first meditation practice on the 16th of December. I dedicated an entire page to this experiment in my bullet journal, and I started working on it. As expected, the first few days were a sheer bliss. I was so inspired and motivated to continue with this practice, but this inspiration quickly wore off, and before I knew it, I was already in a slump. I had to drag myself to the mat, but since I promised myself to genuinely try, and I was kind of curious to see the results, I kept on going. I tested different approaches to meditation. I tried a gratitude practice and a visualization meditation and an awareness meditation. I tried doing it while sitting and while lying down. I tested different times of the day. I tried doing it in the morning and in the evening and in the afternoon, all of that with mixed results. But at the end of my 30-day trial, what I discovered was beyond anything I expected. Reframing the habit of meditating as an experiment made me curious about the whole enterprise, and curiosity ensured my consistency. And even though I missed a few days, I was still very eager to come back to my practice the next day. Surprising or not, but reframing also reduced the resistance attached to habit building. I didn't dread working on my habit since there were no expectations. I didn't scold myself for a missed day, poor concentration, or a very short practice because, again, there were no expectations as to how long the practice should be or how good I should be at it. As of today, I've been meditating for nearly 60 days and I keep on going. I even managed to introduce new habits into my daily routine. Approaching a new habit with curiosity rather than a sense of commitment made the whole process fun, and it is this excitement about the process that ensured I stay committed to it. Moving on to the idea number 2. I think many of you can relate to this, that sometimes you have way too many thoughts. I am definitely one of these more reflective types, and every moment of my waking hours is filled with new ideas and observations and insights and even tiny little mental notes I make for myself. And when I have too much on my mind, it starts affecting my work. I become too anxious and too distracted to focus on anything. The only thing my mind can concentrate on is obsessing over its own worries. Oh no, I haven't paid my insurance bill and the deadline is approaching. Oh no, I haven't replied to this email. Oh no, I don't know what I'm gonna eat for lunch. You know how that goes. A lot of tiny little thoughts suddenly turn into a big problem and suddenly you're too anxious and too distracted to get any work done. Now where does meditation come in? And isn't it about pushing away all the thoughts? Well, not really. I mean, if you manage to reach such a high level of concentration on your breath that you stop thinking altogether, then props to you. But for most of us, mere mortals, thinking is a natural part of our life. You know, cogito ergo sum and all of that jazz. The key here is to let your thoughts in, observe them, and let them go, without allowing them to influence you. When I started approaching meditation this way, a crazy thing happened. I already mentioned how sometimes I get just so much on my mind that I can't focus on literally anything else. So meditation gave me what I really needed. Time to be with my thoughts. Again, I try not to fall into the trap of getting swayed by my thoughts, but rather I observe them, I attend to them, and I listen to what they have to say. I know that might sound a little bit crazy. In any case, most of the things that were stressing me were not as urgent or as stressful as they appeared in the moment. To this day, meditation helps me keep my cool and gives me extra headspace. And in my personal opinion, having this extra headspace is a key advantage in our world. It builds resilience, it allows you to process things at your own pace, see things clearly, take a more objective perspective. It also gives you time and space to play around and come up with new ideas. And finally, it just allows you to be right here, right now, be in the present moment, as they say, and enjoy your life while you're living it. And the final idea. Now this might get a little bit too abstract, but hear me out. Just like meditation is a practice of coming back to your breath, meditating as an activity is a practice of coming back to your daily meditation. As I said, I wasn't 100% consistent myself and I did skip quite a few days. But the idea is not to meditate every single day without a thought, but to keep coming back to your practice. In my experience, when you try to hit the goal of meditating every single day, it just doesn't work. I actually used to meditate regularly throughout my university, my college days, but once I approached my corporate girl era, this identity was lost. I just had way too much on my plate. I just couldn't find time for a regular meditation practice. And every time I would try to commit to a daily practice, I would eventually sleep, I would miss a day, I would consider myself a failure as a result of it, and then I wouldn't come back to the practice for a few months or even a year at a time. When I started focusing on the process rather than on the outcome, things changed. I was much more eager to get back to my practice even after skipping a day because there was no guilt attached to it. In fact, I was rather curious to explore the idea as to why I might have skipped it. And as you already know, I've been meditating daily for nearly 60 days and I keep going strong. Of course, I'm not perfect with it, but what's more important is that I keep coming back to it and I do not give up on my practice just because of a few mistakes. You can use the skill of coming back to your practice in literally any area of your life. When you meditate, you learn to come back to your breath. Later, you turn this ability into the ability of coming back to your overall practice. Now, once you master that skill, you can rely on it in literally every other area of your life. And this is it. These are the 3 ways on how to improve your productivity through meditation. I hope you found this video useful. Let me know in the comment section if you found meditation helpful. And as always, I wish you a great day and I will see you next time. Bye bye.